Hi, in this video we're going to review the Dyson Cinetic Big Ball Animal Canister Vacuum, and that's this guy right here. Now, like all Dyson machines, it is a bagless unit, but this one has Kinetic Technology, which actually eliminates the need for filter maintenance. We have the Pro version of the vacuum, which comes with quite a lot of tools and accessories, and we've got it laid out here. We'll quickly walk through it. You get this combo tool. It's a combination of a crevice tool and a dusting brush. You can see you've got about a foot of reach with the crevice tool, which is pretty decent. The dusting brush can be extended to the front of the crevice tool and dropped back like that. This is a stair tool. It's got a velour strip on the bottom, which is good for helping pick up hair. Stubborn dirt brush with some very stiff bristles. This is the articulating hard floor tool. This is going to go on the end of your wand if you're going to use it. It's got some brushes here, and it rotates a good 180 degrees, and it's good, I think, for getting into kind of tight and narrow areas. Tangle-free turbine tool with two counter-rotating heads. These counter-rotating heads ensure that string and hair and thread, that kind of thing, do not tangle. It's good for, upholstery, maybe a vehicle interior. Pet groom tool. Now, we don't have a pet, so we can't really use this, but Dyson say it's good for medium to long hair pets. Helps remove pet hair and dander. Now, this is the reach under tool. It's got this kind of fluffy head. Now, there's a couple of heads you could put on here. One is a dusting brush, the other one is this head here. And let's see, this extends out. There we go. And this piece here is rubber, so you can see how you might want to reach under something like an appliance to get at dust or debris. So that's kind of handy. And the carbon fiber soft dusting brush with this row of very, very soft carbon fiber filaments on the bottom. So those are your tools. Now let's look at a couple of the accessories. This is a tool clip, and it will clip to the wand and carry two tools. So you've got a couple of them with you when you're walking around. The rest of them, of course, are going to have to be somewhere in a closet or in a cupboard. And this is an adapter. It's kind of a handy device if you have some other, perhaps older Dyson machines that have tools. This will allow you to use some of the older tools on this newer machine. In addition, you've got some literature. You've got a little bit of Dyson history. They give you the manual, of course, and a registration guide. The tools can be attached to the end of the hose, the end of the handle, or the end of the wand. And let's take a look at those options here. I've got the stair tool, attaching it to the end of the hose. Now we can take the handle off here and attach that stair tool to the end of the handle, and you can attach the wand, remove the cleaner head, and attach the stair tool to the end of the wand. So that's how that all works. Now let's take a look at the tool clip here, which holds a couple of tools. I'm going to attach it to the wand, and let's put that stair tool here, and I'm going to put the combo tool here. So you can see how one could be vacuuming and carrying a couple of tools with them with the use of this tool clip. Now, the other accessory was this adapter. Now let's just remove the wand. I have dug up an older crevice tool. We got this with one of our older Dyson machines. You'll notice it does not have the red button here, so it won't work with this. But using the adapter, which has the red button system, we can click that in, and now we can use the older tool. Just a quick word on this Cinetic Technology. Now, I've read a bit about it, and Cinetic Technology uses these very small cyclones. They're smaller than the cyclones you see on a typical Dyson vacuum cleaner, and that results in the air in those cyclones spinning much more rapidly and thereby removing smaller and finer dust particles than you would with the larger cyclones. Now, one of the problems they encountered with that is the very tip of the cyclone, the narrow end of the cyclone, tends to get clogged. So Dyson made it that those tips vibrate or oscillate at 350 times per second. They claimed that they ran 10 years of dust through this system and those tips didn't clog at all. So the system does work. Now, one of the results of that high level of filtration or high level of particulate removal is that you don't have to wash or replace the filters in the unit. So that's kind of handy. In addition, it results in a HEPA level of filtration. So that's good, you know, if you're in a household where, you know, maybe somebody has asthma or allergies. With respect to cleaning reach, we measured the hose here at about 5.5 feet. We've also got the, well, you've got the handle. It's got a little bit of reach, but not much. You've got the wand here. 2 feet 1 inch, but it is telescopic, and that will extend out a fair bit, all the way to 3 feet 4 inches. And you of course have your power cord, and that's here. And that power cord, the auto retract, which is kind of nice, but the power cord is 21.7 feet long. So, you know, all in, you're looking at maybe a little over 31 feet of cleaning reach. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. You know, our Dyson Ball Animal 3, the upright, we've got a 35-foot power cord and 13 plus feet of hose. So, you know, this is okay, but cleaning reach is pretty average, really. We did a noise level test for the vacuum using this digital noise level meter. Now, we placed this 3 feet in front of the cleaner head of the vacuum cleaner, turn the vacuum on this low pile carpet, and we calculate peak decibels. Now, we've done that for a whole host of vacuum cleaners, and we're going to put a sample of those up in a table in a second. And overall, though, I'd have to say that this is a fairly quiet vacuum cleaner. This is a sample table of the noise level of some of the more popular vacuums that we've reviewed. And you can see near the top of the table there, the Dyson Kinetic Big Ball Animal Pro Canister, 73.7 peak decibels. Well, that's not too bad. We found the machine very tolerable. Have to say, I mean, certainly comparatively, it's reasonably quiet. Now let's talk a little bit about weight and movement. The whole vacuum in its entirety weighs 17.6 pounds, and you know, that's a fairly heavy machine. Now, we've also taken the wand, cleaner head and hose off. There's a little red clip here. Comes off pretty easy. And we've measured just this unit, and this is the unit you're going to pull behind you. That alone is 13.7 pounds, so that's the bulk of the vacuum sitting there. Now, in terms of movement, you know, we've just mentioned like the hose, the wand, the cleaner head, which isn't motorized. This is all pretty lightweight. So this moves around quite easily. I mean, it turns well. You can see you've also got this kind of swivel here on the handle. It's lightweight. So this all moves well. Now, when it comes to dragging this canister behind you, however, you know, especially on carpet, it's a bit of a tug. You have to kind of drag this along, and you can feel the weight. Again, 13.7 pounds. Another thing that makes the vacuum perhaps a little easier to work with, or a little more ergonomic, is this telescopic wand. Remember, it can stretch from 2.2 feet 1 inch all the way to 3 feet and 4 inches. And that really helps, you know, depending on your stature. If you're really tall, you can stretch this way, way out. Of course, I don't know how tall you'd have to be for that to be comfortable, but there's about 10 settings here that you can lock the unit in. So that, you know, that really helps. In addition, something else about this machine that's interesting is the actual canister itself. It will upright no matter what position it is in. So if you happen to tip it over, it will always right itself. It doesn't really matter. You know, sometimes, you know, when you're pulling this hose around, you might tip it over or whatever, but it will always right itself. That's kind of nice, because with these things you inevitably do tip them over. In terms of mobility, this unit does sit atop the big ball. Let's just take the hose off here. So the big ball is these wheels on either side, and they rotate and they help the machine move along. In addition, underneath at the back, you've got a couple of small wheels here. So those are the pieces of the device that help it move back and forth. Now, on carpet, I've mentioned before that it can feel like you're kind of lugging a fair bit behind you. It is much easier to use, or much easier to move on a hard floor. In terms of power, the unit is putting out 250 air watts of suction according to Dyson. Now, I guess by way of comparison, your Dyson Ball Animal 3, the upright, 290 air watts of suction. Dyson Ball Animal 2, according to Dyson, is only 227 air watts of suction. Now, we had an older Dyson DC39. It was, like this unit, a canister vacuum. We got that one in 2014. It too had 250 air watts of suction. Let's talk about vacuum controls. The vacuum actually has very few controls, which I suppose is kind of nice. It makes it simple. Right here we have a trigger on the handle, and when you pull that trigger up, it opens up a vent here on the side of the handle, and that effectively bleeds off suction down to the cleaner head. Now, you might want to do that if the cleaner head is sticking a little bit. Maybe it's getting hard to push on carpet, or it's sticking to a mat or rug you're trying to vacuum. In addition, if you're using the handle with a tool, if there's too much suction at the end of the tool, you can use the trigger and bleed off suction at the end of the tool. Now let's take a look at the canister itself. There's only two controls on the canister. Over here you can see the back of the canister. You have the power cord rewind button, and here is the vacuum power on-off button. And one thing that is not on the vacuum cleaner is a brush roll on-off. So remember, this brush roll isn't motorized, but we have seen, like on our DC39, controls on the handle which will actually turn the brush roll off. They don't have that on this unit, so the brush roll is always spinning. Now, I suppose, given the model we have, the Pro version, we have this articulating hard floor tool. Now, this thing, of course, doesn't have a motorized brush roll, doesn't have a brush roll at all. So you can simply put this on the end of your wand if you don't want a spinning brush roll when you're doing, for example, a hard floor. But if you don't have this tool, well, you're going to be stuck with a spinning brush roll all the time. We've taken the cleaner head off of the vacuum here so we could take a closer look. One of the first things is that this bulky piece is not a motor. It's actually a turbine, and that turbine is spun by vacuum suction, and it ultimately spins the brush roll. So this is not a motorized cleaner head. Also, if you want to get at the cleaner head, maybe you want to clean it or something, there is an easy way to take it out. There's a little slot here. I'm just going to use a coin. Twist it counterclockwise, and this head comes off, and then you can pull the cleaner head out for easy cleaning. And then you can, when you're finished with that, you can put it back in and give this a twist clockwise, and it locks right back in. This unit also does not have any anti-tangling technology. Some of the newer vacuums we're seeing today have a technology whereby it helps strip the hair or string or whatever that could get tangled up in the brush roll. It helps strip it off and send it off to the dust canister for disposal. Well, this unit does not have that. There are pros and cons to emptying the dust canister in this unit. Now, it's very easy to detach from the vacuum cleaner. You've got the red button here, push it in, it comes up, and when you're finished putting it back, really simple. Now, the issue sometimes comes when you are emptying the unit. There's a red plunger here you can see. You push that down, opens up the bottom door, hopefully your dust and debris come out, and then you should be able to close it up. Now, that's one of the problems. Sometimes this bottom door, you've got to be really careful and make sure there's a clip here. You got to make sure that that pops into place, or else it can inadvertently open when you're trying to make your way to a garbage can and leave you with dust and debris everywhere. Also, sometimes when we've opened this, we've had a hard time pushing it back up. Sometimes it's gotten stuck. Now, we've always managed to make it work one way or another, but there's just a couple of little idiosyncrasies here you need to be aware of. We ran the vacuum through some cleaning tests, and our first test was on this low pile carpet. We created our own debris, and it was kind of a simulation of fine, small to medium-sized debris. It actually consisted of ground up Cheerios, flax seeds, chili flakes, and split green peas. We weighed that amount of debris very carefully and placed it in a 5-foot long line. We ran the vacuum over it in about a 10-second pass or so, and we determined by weight the percentage of pickup. Let's take a look at that run. I think you could see in that clip that the machine had a tendency to push some of the heavier split green peas ahead in front of the cleaner head. It also left a little bit of the lighter debris behind, and we calculated the overall pickup by weight at 96.0%, which is not bad, but you know, nothing amazing. The same test that we did on this low pile carpet, we performed on a tile floor. On the tile, you could see that the unit did not leave all those heavier split green peas behind, and that really helped in terms of the percentage pickup by weight, and we calculated that percentage pickup at 99.2%. You could see, however, that there was still some debris left over. We have run some machines that are, you know, like the Dyson Ball Animal 3, that came up at like 99.9%. and really didn't show us any or very, very little debris left over. We wanted to see how well this non-motorized brush roll would work on a very deep pile carpet. So we've got this white deep pile carpet here. It's about 1 inch long. We're going to turn the machine on and see just how the brush roll does. Takes a while to spin up. There we go. Okay, I think you can see that it does spin, it does continue to move around. It is slowed a little bit, which is probably going to affect your cleaning to some extent. We performed a hair test, and in that test we took long black human hair and short white pet hair. We put it on this low pile carpet and we ran the vacuum over it. Now the idea was to see how well the cleaner head picked up the hair, to see whether or not it got bogged down at all, meaning this brush roll slowed substantially, and to see if there was much tangle on the brush roll. In that test, hair pickup was pretty good, and it's also nice to see that the brush roll didn't get bogged down, but we did see a lot of hair wrap, and that is, it's fairly common on a brush roll that doesn't have any of the anti-tangle technology. We did an edge cleaning test, and in that test we take chili flakes, place them along a wall, and then we run the vacuum over it to see whether it will pick up everything right up tight against the wall. Edge cleaning was average to below average. The unit just didn't get everything right up tight against the wall. We've seen some machines that will actually do that. Many won't. Unfortunately, this one will not. Now, it's not the end of the world if the edge cleaning isn't all that great, because this unit comes with a crevice tool, and that can just be placed on the end of the wand, and the machine has quite a bit of suction, and this kind of arrangement will do a good job of edge cleaning. We've got the Pro version of the vacuum. The Pro version comes with 8 tools. Now, the Pro version seems to be a little bit more popular in Canada, and at the time of this video, or this review, it's about $6.99 Canadian. That's what we're seeing in the stores. Now, in the States, it seems a little less common to see the Pro version. You typically just see the Dyson Cinetic Big Ball Animal. That one, I believe, comes with 4 tools, and I've seen prices, around $5.99 US for that. I hope you found the information in this review helpful. If you did, please consider subscribing, and thanks very much for watching.